Good evening, everyone. My name is Wendy Moffatt, and I will be presenting this week on Adrian Caveira's work. I am looking at chapter 7, Crowds with a Cell Phone, and I will be talking about that section of the reading today. So Caveira's work has had a profound impact on feminist philosophy, political theory, and ethics by bringing relationality storytelling to the forefront. She offers a critical rethinking of traditional philosophical concepts, paving the way for more inclusive approaches to understanding human life. Her contributions continue to inspire scholars and activists worldwide, particularly in the field of gender studies, political philosophy, and ethics. So to summarize, Crowds with a Cell Phone, pages 89 to 95. Caveira explores the intersection of technology and democracy, particularly how the presence of cell phones has transformed public gatherings and public engagement. She analyzes the role of crowds in contemporary protests, emphasizing how cell phones enable individuals to become active participants in these movements, both as organizers and communicators. So the cell phone, in our view, is not just a tool for individual expression, but also a device that facilitates the collective organization of conflict. This section also is a critique of the changing landscape of political activism in the digital age, emphasizing how the presence of technology can both empower and also limit democratic action. So Caveira argues that the crowd, once a temporary and physical gathering of bodies in protest, is now mediated by digital technology, and the cell phone allows the crowd to maintain a presence in public spaces while simultaneously being connected to a global network. This technological shift, she suggests, has redefined the nature of democratic engagement. It transforms the crowd from a temporary, localized group to a more fluid and dispersed force connected through social media and digital platforms. Caveira also warns that this digital mediation can reduce the collective energy of crowds as it turns immediate physical protest into a form of virtual visibility that is often more controlled and less directly confrontational. Caveira also reflects on the double-edged nature of technology in democracy. So while cell phones and social media can amplify voices and mobilize political action, they also introduce the risk of surveillance, fragmentation, and the optation of movements by more powerful forces. She stresses the importance of understanding these dynamics in the context of how modern protests function, particularly how the digital realm affects both the expression and reception of democratic movement. So while exploring this section of the reading, I found some key terms and themes that came out. And the first one I want to identify is the transformation of protest through technology. So here Cavera explores how the cell phones have reshaped the nature of public protest and democratic engagement. I also saw the theme of empowerment and agency in the digital age. So this is where the cell phone serves as a tool that empowers individuals within crowds, facilitating real-time communication, organization, and of course broadcasting. Another theme I saw popping up is the whole issue of surveillance and the control of movements. So while technology enables protests, Cavera also addresses the darker side of this digital mediation, which is surveillance. No one wants to be surveilled. And the fourth one I want to talk about is the virtual visibility versus physical presence. So here I see the tension between virtual visibility and physical presence, which is another major theme. Also, I want to talk about one quote I found in the reading this week that resonates with me, and it's taken from page 92. So the quote reads, "A shop-windowed relation that requires connection but does not imply a proper relationship. Indeed, what matters is the image. Everything else remains in the background and works towards its obtainment." So the coined concept shop window relation, this is where connection is sought primarily for the sake of image rather than substance. And this terminology really resonates with me because it actually captures a critical aspect of contemporary society that emphasizes on appearance and superficial interaction. And the idea that what matters is the image, everything else remains in the background and works towards its attainment. That intrigues me because it reveals a paradox in how relationships are increasingly mediated by technology and social media. The quote makes me want to reflect on how much of modern life revolves around creating and projecting an image often at the expense of deeper and more meaningful connections. So, in a world dominated by digital platforms, it is easy to see how relationships can become performative and valued more for their ability to generate likes, followers, or status than for the intrinsic bond between individuals. So the framing of the shop window relation resonates because I often notice this dynamic in my own life, where the pressure to present myself positively online, can overshadow the authenticity of offline interaction. What I find particularly interesting about this idea is its broader implications for identity and society. The focus on image not only impacts personal relationships, but also influences how we view success, worth, and even democracy. In a culture that prioritizes visibility and spectacle, substantive qualities like integrity, depth, and mutual understanding may be risked to be sidelined. And this realization makes me want to question the long-term effects of living in a world where connections are increasingly instrumentalized for external validation rather than mutual enrichment. Kavera's insight also makes me think about how this dynamic affects collective spaces such as protests or democratic movements. When visibility becomes a primary goal, as it often does in digital activism, the underlying values of goals of the movement can fade into the background, and the image of unity or resistance may dominate. So while the actual work of fostering genuine relationships and shared purpose becomes secondary, we need to be mindful of how this will work. So this tension between appearance and substance is not just a personal challenge, but we could consider it a societal challenge as well. Finally, the concept of the shop window relation resonates with me because it challenges me to reflect on my own priorities as an individual. Am I cultivating relationships and engagement that are meaningful, or am I unconsciously succumbing to the allure of maintaining an image, especially one on social media? This question feels urgent in a time when digital tools increasingly shape how we see ourselves and others. And Kavera's critique inspires me to seek ways to prioritize authenticity and depth over appearance, both in my personal life and in my engagement with the world. So to wrap up my presentation, I would like to ask two questions. And the first one is, how does the concept of a shop-windowed relationship where image takes precedence over substance influence our ability to form authentic connections in both personal and societal context? I will repeat. How does the concept of a shop-windowed relationship, where image takes precedence over substance, influence our ability to form authentic connections in both personal and societal context? And you can think of examples from social media and other digital platforms that illustrate this tension as you try to answer my question. And my second question is, in what ways might the focus on visibility and image in activism or public life undermine the deeper goals of democratic movements? So I'll repeat. In what ways might the focus on visibility and image in activism or public life undermine the deeper goals of democratic movements? How can we balance the need for visibility with the importance of fostering genuine, substantive relationships and collective action? Thank you.